If you've been thinking about taking your career into data science, you can take advantage of generative AI in multiple ways. One of the ways that you can do this is, especially if you've been working on taking your career into more classic traditional data science directions, now that we have generative AI, if you do the research and decide that you'd rather take your career in that direction, more towards generative AI, with the solid foundation that you've already built in the classic traditional data science arena, you can now apply that to generative AI, and it's only going to make you a stronger candidate for roles in generative AI. So the real challenge is just deciding, do you want to track your career more towards the traditional so-called classic data science career options, or do you want to track your career more towards the newer generative AI options? Both are viable. You have to do the research and you have to make the decision. And once you make the decision, that's how you move forward. You also might think that it's going to take 10 years to transition your career into data science. One of the misconceptions for folks that are looking to transition their career into data science is folks will tend to underestimate the amount of time it takes to learn a new skill, a specific tool, or a specific method. That's in the short term. Folks will underestimate the time. You might think, oh, I'll do that Friday afternoon. But really, it's going to take you all weekend. You really have to put in the hours. You have to do the work. Conversely, in the long term, folks tend to overestimate the amount of time it will take to transition their career into data science. So in the short term, you might incorrectly think that you can learn a new skill in just an hour. But you also might incorrectly think that it's going to take 10 years to transition your career into data science. Both are not quite right. The truth is, to transition your entire career into data science is going to take far less than 10 years, but learning a new skill or method is going to take far more than just 1 hour. If you've been thinking a lot about data science lately, I have a tip for you. You should also look at learning about data governance. Data governance are the systems and policies and processes that help an organization make important decisions about data. For example, who has access to the data? What data are we going to collect? How are we going to collect it? How are we going to store that data? How are we going to decide who has access to what data? What tools are we going to use related to our data? And once again, if you're thinking about data science, especially if you're thinking about taking your career into data science, and you also haven't learned a little bit about data governance, you're missing out. Spend some time today to learn just a little bit more about data governance. One of my favorite things to do in training settings is to demystify the topic of machine learning. What is machine learning? Okay, machine learning is a collection of systems and algorithms that help machines mimic human behavior. Basically, machine learning helps us produce artificial intelligence. For example, we've given computers the ability to read an email message and then decide, is it spam or not spam? This is a human-like behavior. Before machine learning was applied to this problem, we needed a human to look at an email to decide if it was spam or not spam. Thanks to machine learning, again, it's really nothing more than a collection of systems and processes that have been engineered together in order to perform that task for us. It's mimicking human-like behavior. If you need inspiration for your own data science projects, head on over to databesties.pythonanywhere.com. That's databesties.pythonanywhere.com, and you're going to find example projects and you're going to find inspiration. At databesties.pythonanywhere.com, I've built several example data science projects that you could use as inspiration for your own projects. Let me know if you have questions about those once you've been over there, and I'll do my best to help you out. One of the example projects that I built over at databesties.pythonanywhere.com was a tool to help me learn Spanish. So what I built was an upgraded version of Google Translate. I used ChatGPT on the back end. On the front end, I can enter a phrase in either English or Spanish, and then I ask the platform to translate it from Spanish to English or English to Spanish. But that's not all. In English, I get an explanation of all the grammar in the passage, but also in Spanish, I get an equivalent explanation of all the grammar in Spanish. Then I also get a list of all of the verbs in Spanish. Each verb is a clickable link that will take you out to a deeper exploration of that verb. It'll give you all of the conjugations, the participle, and the present progressive. This is one of the best tools that I've ever built because it was something that I was interested in, I was personally motivated in. When you're looking to design data science projects for yourself, you should do the same thing. You should find problems in your life that you think you can solve with data science, generative AI, or whatever tool. Build that tool, build it for yourself, and then you have an example that you can show prospective employers, hiring managers, recruiters about your skills and abilities. You're going to be able to talk about it in a special way because it's a project that you care about. It's a project that you built for yourself to solve a real problem. If you want to learn more about this, let me know. If you want to see an example of my upgraded Google Translate, you might call it, let me know, and I'll help you out.